All right, let's get straight to it. Forget those endless lists of AI tools. This is not another top 5 explainer. This is a proven, execution-focused system. If you follow it step by step, you will build a real competitive edge. So, let's begin. Look at this. On the left, you've got the average method. This is passive consumption. You read something, you watch a lecture, and then you forget it. On the right, that's the system method, active testing and constant improvement. This is the fundamental shift we're making today. We're moving from just consuming information to building an actual machine that generates deep understanding. So here's the most important point to grasp. The power isn't in any single tool. The real power is in the workflow. It's how these tools connect to each other, creating this compounding effect that no one else can easily replicate. It's all about integration. Okay, this is your daily operational blueprint. Think of it as a non-negotiable workflow. It has 6 steps. I'm going to break down each step, tell you the exact tool to use, and the precise action you need to take. And here's the full system. 1. Capture. 2. Breakdown. 3. Systemize. 4. Test. 5. Feedback. And 6. Revise. You see how each step feeds directly into the next. It creates a closed loop. The sequence here is absolutely critical. You have to follow it precisely. So, step 1, capture. The goal here is simple. We're converting passive things like lectures and book chapters from just inert material into active, searchable data assets. This is the entry point for the entire system. The tool for this is Otter.ai, or really any whisper-based system. Its job is to completely eliminate manual note-taking. You record your lectures, you generate the transcripts, and this lets you shift your focus from just writing things down to actually understanding them in the moment. The output is your very first searchable asset. Now for step 2, breakdown. You take those raw transcripts from the capture phase and you deconstruct them. What we need out of this step are the core concepts and, importantly, testable units. For this, ChatGPT is your primary engine. You're going to use it to break down complex topics, to get it to explain concepts in really simple terms, and, this is crucial, to generate questions. This is how you transform a wall of passive text into a fully interactive study session. But what happens when you hit a really difficult concept or an area where you need absolute accuracy? That's when you bring in Perplexity. Its job is to give you real-time, source-backed answers. It cuts through all the search friction and the noise of the internet. Now, here's a pro-level technique. It's called stacking. You use Perplexity first to research and verify the tough points. Then, you feed that verified information into ChatGPT for refinement and to generate your questions. This sequence guarantees a much higher quality output. All right, step 3 is systemize. All that material you've just broken down, it's completely useless if it's scattered everywhere. So the objective here is to build a permanent, structured, and queryable knowledge database. This is your second brain. The tool for this is Notion AI. You're going to build databases for concepts, for questions, and, this is the most important part, for your mistakes. Everything you've captured and broken down now has a permanent, organized home. This becomes the central hub for your entire system. Okay, we're now combining steps 4 and 5, test and feedback. This is the engine room of the whole system. What we're doing here is converting that passive knowledge into active recall and getting precise, data-driven feedback on exactly where our weaknesses are. So here's the exact test feedback loop. 1. Generate questions in ChatGPT. 2. Attempt the answers offline, no help. 3. Input your answers for evaluation. 4. Extract the conceptual gaps and errors. And 5. Log every single mistake in your Notion database. This closes the loop. Want a high-impact technique? It's called opposite testing. You prompt ChatGPT to create trap questions based on common misconceptions about a topic. This really hardens your knowledge and helps eliminate those careless errors you make under pressure. The final step in our loop is revise. And let me be clear, this is not rereading. Revision in this system is surgical. You use the data from your Notion mistake log to focus only on the high-yield topics and, of course, your repeated mistakes. A great tool for this is Gamma or Tome. You use it to convert your notes on a weak area into a visual explanation, like a mini presentation. Why? Because the highest form of learning is teaching. Forcing yourself to structure knowledge visually solidifies it in your mind, and it instantly exposes any remaining weaknesses. Now, when you execute this system consistently, you start to develop a clear, almost unfair advantage. Let's talk about what those outputs actually look like. First, you get error-based optimization. Your improvement is driven by mistake patterns, not just finishing the syllabus. Second, you get dynamic study systems. Your plan literally adapts day to day based on your performance data. Third, exam pattern training. You start to recognize patterns from all the AI-generated practice. Fourth, knowledge compression. Entire chapters become simple frameworks that are way faster to recall. And finally, self-testing dominance. You spend your time testing, not just passively reading. So, if all these tools are out there, why do most people who use them fail to get a real edge? Well, the answer isn't about the tools themselves, it's about how they're being used. This brings us to the critical system mistakes. These are the common failures that will completely nullify any advantage you might get. You have to avoid these. First, using AI as just an answer machine. This absolutely kills critical thinking. Second, having no system integration. If you use these tools randomly, you get zero compounding effect. Third, ignoring the feedback data. If you don't log your mistakes, I promise you, you are guaranteed to repeat them. And fourth, over-consuming AI outputs. Passively reading AI-generated notes is just as useless as reading a textbook. Look, the future edge is not about who has access to the best tools. It's about your ability to build and execute a personal system. The top performers are going to be system architects, not just tool consumers. So if you only take one thing away from all this, let it be this core principle. You use AI to think, to test, and to improve. Do not use it just to complete work. That is the system. That is the edge.